Hi, I'm Lorian, and this is the Knitting and YouTube podcast. It is pretty much a show that is focused on knitting and fiber-related crafting. Sometimes not fiber. I've been doing some pottery lately, and the "and" part gives me some space to talk about other things that are either going on in the world or ideas or thoughts, whatever I want to share. You can find me here and on Ravelry and on Instagram under Yarn Love Turtle. If we're not connected, please feel free to reach out. If you're on Instagram and you have a public account, I will follow you back. Reach out and make friends on Ravelry. I will friend you back. And here, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel, especially because we're going to start off with one of my favorite things to participate in, which is a giveaway. So as of the last episode, the channel had reached 1,000 subscribers, so thank you. And I said I would be doing a giveaway as of the next episode. So I went through my stash to find a few things that I might want to give away. So there are actually going to be 3 winners, assuming there are enough comments for 3 winners. And the prize options are this non-superwash wool. It is from Lisa Daschinger Wool. She's gone by a few different names. It's the Owl Ridge Corriedale, and these together make up 100 grams. They're together 400 yards, and it is fleece from the pasture of New Braintree, Massachusetts. Corriedales have been raised on the farm for over 20 years. And with the 3rd generation becoming involved in sheep, they are looking forward to the next 20 years of wool production. It's 100% virgin Corriedale. It's a raspberry kind of, more of a cranberry. It might be showing raspberry on screen. I purchased this yarn at Fiber Festival of New England, maybe last year, but it could have been before then. So that is one option. Another option is this skein of superwash wool from Swamp Bunny Fibers and Goods. I think I actually did win this one as a giveaway. This is the Swamp Twist base. It is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon and 463 yards. So it is a teal/blue color. And then the third option is a set. So I think this is probably 200 yards, but I didn't want to just put one in the giveaway since I really feel they go well together. So this is from Teeny Button Studio. I believe these are misfits, or just, I don't know. I think I got them as part of a mystery sale. I definitely purchased these, and they feel like they're definitely a fingering weight, and I want to say they're probably a 75-25. So your options are pink, teal, or non-superwash. So the instructions for this giveaway are to leave a comment. Well, first you have to be a subscriber to the channel. Then leave a comment with which prize you would like to win. Again, non-superwash, teal, or pink. Or if you're any or a combination, that's fine, but I'd rather you get something you want. I'm planning to draw until all 3 are given away. You can live anywhere in the world. I will only announce winners here. The first draw, though, however, is getting a special prize in addition to whatever yarn you've chosen. So Jenny of Renninger Wool Co has donated this fabulous tote bag. It's 2 handles up here. Isn't she precious? And this is her Winnie Woolybuns. That's the name of the sheep. So I'm going to read you the back of it, because not only do you get the face of the sheep here, but you get Winnie's story, which is, imagine our surprise when Pearl, an all-white merino ewe, gave birth to a black and white spotted lamb. Born on a frigid January morning, Winnie quickly warmed our hearts with her silly antics and lovable demeanor. So Jenny has just been super generous You'll see more Renninger Wool as I show you what I'm working on. And when she heard that the channel had over 1,000 subscribers, Jenny sent this bag. So what a lovely, it's a very good size. It will hold more than a sweater's quantity, I think, of wool. So like I said, please be subscribed and then leave a comment that says pink, teal, or non-superwash with your preference. Or it could be any of them. And that way you're leaving the choice to me if your name is drawn. If your name is drawn and the prize has already been given away, I will go to the next name that has one of the available prizes in it. Good luck. I love giveaways. They're so much fun. They're fun to do. I love celebrating. To me, more is more. And why not have a celebratory moment? What am I wearing? This is the Rift Tee. It's a pattern by Jacqueline Cieslak. I knit it several years ago. It has a split hem and this really cute ribbing down the side, and it's a V-neck t-shirt. The yarn I'm used for it was from Farmer's Daughter Fibers, some sport base that I'm not sure is carried. The colorway is called Shipwreck. I saw the color at Vogue Knitting Live New York City a few years ago. Couldn't decide what I would make with it, and then eventually saw this pattern come out. It has also this really nice little detail on the shoulders. It's a t-shirt. It's very casual. I don't really wear it to work, but it was perfect for today and with a pair of jeans. So I think Jacqueline Cieslak is a brilliant, brilliant designer. There were a lot of options for the optimal fit in this pattern. I have also knit one of her other designs. I think I would actually knit this again. I think it's a very, very thoughtful design. All right, let's get into the knitting. So I'm actually gonna put this one on because it is a finish. Let me scooch us away so you can see more. There we go. So this is a cowl. It's a little bit, came out a little large, my version of it. This is a test knit that I did for Beth Macdonald Stone. It is her Icing on the Cake cowl. It is coming out the middle of October. I believe she said October 16th. And a lovely group of test knitters tested it. Beth has a companion pattern that is a vest, and I really wanted to test the vest for her, but I only had one skein of this absolutely glorious yarn by Fiber Macgyver. It is her Suri Silk DK. The colorway is called Renegade, and I pretty much used the entire skein for this cowl. And it's delicious. It is 90% Suri and 10%, oh no, I'm sorry. This is 74% baby Suri alpaca and not 26% silk. I wasn't sure how it would do with this textured like cable pattern, and I feel like you can see it perfectly. Even though it really softens the pattern, there's a little bit of a seed stitch and then the I-cord here. Really, really fun design. I would love to knit the vest in this base as well. I just have to decide if there's a color that is right for me. But this is just luxurious squish. The pattern is designed kind of for worsted weight. I think Beth held a DK and a strand of a fluffy yarn together in her version. Mine definitely came out larger, but for a cowl, I think that's completely fine. Still easy to fit like under a winter jacket and just so soft and luxurious. And this color, I don't know that I'd wear a whole sweater in it, but I love it for an accessory. Highly, highly recommend. All right, I have 3 other projects in the works. So in no particular order, I'm going to show you the next one, just whatever's closest in reach. This is the Smoldering Embers. Smoldering Embers, it's a sweater. was considering putting these on hangers and wondering if I might be able to show them better to you if it was on a hanger. So I still have the sleeves to go. It's a color work yoke, sport weight yarns. So this is knit in a color changing yarn and a solid. You could certainly use 2 solids though, or you could flip and do the color changing yarn as the background and the solid for the color work motif. In fact, that could be kind of interesting depending on the color, how strong of a difference they would be. This is a very fine motif, especially at the top. So I really wanted it to show up. I did quite a lot of color management, meaning I broke up the yarn because wherever I saw the barber pulling be very strong, like in here, this was kind of the only place I left it in. But most of these were solid colors or very subtle changes to get to the solid color. I just felt this motif showed better by doing that. So I have a lot of bits and pieces of what's left of the color changing yarn. You do cast on with it and you do bind off with it. There is more color work on the sleeves by the cuffs. So I have to see what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna manage what's left in the yarn with the remaining color work. I do have some solid sections, but it will probably be a little more barber pole, stronger color contrast in the barber pole. I am loving this design. For me, it's coming up, my gauge must be a little bit larger than what the pattern's calling for. I do go up a size of needle when I do color work just so that so my tension stays all right. I have not blocked this yet. The body is long, came out quite long, and the yoke I think is a little bit longer than I typically go for, so I didn't need quite the length in the body that the pattern called for. I think I ended up doing, I definitely did maybe 1.25 inches less on the ribbing and maybe 1 inch less on the body because the yoke, the sweater is coming down a little lower on the yoke than I typically wear, but it's fine. I'm loving it. As you can see, I'm having a pink and purple moment in my knitting. That's gonna change after these current knits. Since we'll stay in that color family with my next work in progress, which has been out for about a little over a year. I think this pattern came out around this time last year, which is the Stripy Unicorn. Again, a top-down sweater by Locateli. I don't have as much of the body done on this one. And I am participating in the Hohi Fall Knit Along 2024. So it's a little longer than it's showing, but it's gonna roll while it's on the needle. I'm really enjoying this knit. I wasn't sure that I would, but I'm very happy with my color choices together. So my color changing yarn is by Yarn Hero. It is the Merge Sport base, which actually I think I need to rewind. This color changing yarn is also the Yarn Hero Merge Sport. I bought that as a second. I bought all of it as second quality, so it didn't come with ball bands, but she did send a Linnell, I think is her name, did send kind of a receipt for what I ordered. So this color is called Sweetheart, this purpley pink changing color. And the Merge Sport is 330 yards, 95 to 100 grams of non-superwash merino. The gray color is actually my first time ever using Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia organic merino. This colorway is called Pebble, and it is also a non-superwash. And the put up is fabulous. It's 382 yards for 100 grams. Let's see, 100% wool. That's all it says. This is very reasonably priced. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. I may end up with quite a bit of extra of this, and this may end up going also into, that is one thing about when I do a giveaway, there'll be extras. So what you saw is what you're voting or wishing for, and letting me know if you're participating, but I do put extras in the packages. All right, back to Stripy Unicorn. Okay, so This is the part of the pattern that trips everybody up. It certainly tripped me up. These are some of the short rows, and I know from my friends who have already knit this that when they've blocked it out, they disappear a bit, not fully. And I think that's been a deterrent to people, honestly, who've knit this pattern. I think there are less than 100 projects, and that's low for a Hohi pattern. I wanted to knit it because I had this yarn, this colorful yarn, and I just thought I liked that it was a different approach, this kind of single row of color. And I guess I just thought it would be something different and something fun. It's a little rainbowy for my style, for my taste. But I think I'm gonna wear it. I know I'll wear it. I know it will get worn. So most of the work is done. You can kind of see these lines cascading down. That is where the increases are in this yoke. And it has a rolled hem at like a rolled collar, and it has, I think it has some ribbing and some roll at the cuffs and the bottom, the waist ribbing. So I am enjoying knitting this. I am loving the yarn. So in addition to the Merge Sport from Yarn Hero, this beautiful blue color is called Indigo, and it is by Ewetopia. I think they're Ewetopia Fibers. They're out of Wisconsin, and this is made from 100% fine wool from Midwestern sheep. It doesn't say what the breed is. I did some of the swatch in this. None of it bled. It's a toothy yarn, but it is soft. So that's my stripy unicorn. I feel like the name is super fitting to the look of this sweater. So it's a bit of a step in a different direction than what is typical from me. But all right, next on my needles, and the last work in progress for right now. I feel like some of these are getting towards the end. Like this sweater, all I have left are the sleeves. I will knit my sleeves 2 at a time, magic loop, because they're mostly this solid gray color. And if that's something you've never tried, check out my Instagram account. I do have a saved reel on my profile page with a tutorial of how to do that. For me, doing my sleeves that way was a big game changer. My next work in progress is a vest and has no sleeves. So it is also nearing completion. And that is the back side of the Oben. I think it's pronounced Oben. I think I've been saying Oban, and it's Oben vest. This is a design by Thea Colman. And I am knitting this in, funny enough, Winnie Woolybuns wool. The wool from the sheep who's on the picture of that fabulous tote bag that is part of the giveaway. So it's Renninger Wool Co, Winnie Woolybuns DK. It is this year's 2024, 100% natural colored merino wool, 225 yards for 3-ply DK weight yarn. This, I think I said, this pattern is by Thea Colman. It is a V-neck vest. That's the back. I'm gonna hold up the front, but the front is in pieces and on hold. So there's not gonna be a super great way to show it because I'm also holding, that's the V. I'm holding some of the cable. So the cable goes up and around the V and around the back of the neck. So you can kind of see this, the pieces that are going back on the back of the neck are making that heart shape right now in what you're seeing. Now, I was a little concerned about my usage, my yardage versus how it was coming out, and I was worried I might not have enough yarn. And this is very, very special yarn. This is merino that is just so soft, next to skin, but like I'd make a pillow out of this next to skin. Anyway, I'd gotten just very little done on the front, and I thought I better block the body and make sure that it will open up I had a loose enough gauge. I've already dropped down one smaller needle size than the pattern calls for, and I believe it was designed with worsted, and this is DK. But I was able to get gauge, and I was able to get a length on this vest that I wanted, and the width is perfect. It's this design comes in a pullover, a hat, a cardigan. I have knit the hat and the cardigan already. It uses a similar cable stitch motif. So this is Jenny. Jenny has a designer, an artist named Bobby Becker, who did this lovely picture of her. This is her two dogs. She's there. This is called Loving on Rosie, and these cards are available in her shop, but she also sent it to me when she sent me that beautiful bag for the giveaway. Jenny also sent me, this is part of what is new things now. Oh, well, before I jump into that, I am knitting this vest for the Renninger Wool Co. Name a Lamb Make Along, M-A-L. And funny enough, Jenny Renninger is knitting the exact same pattern as one of her projects for that Make Along, and the same yarn. So, Jenny sent the bag for all of you, and she sent me the same image on a tea towel for me, and it came with this beautiful card. So my husband loves it so much, he wants me to turn it into a pillow for our couch. So this just gives you a picture of how beautiful the setting is. And this is the cat and the two dogs, and this is Jenny painted in Loving on Rosie, one of her sheep. Okay. Two other things that I purchased that are new is Magpie Fibers had a sale on all the yarns on their website. And I had really wanted to try one of their bases, which is 75% cashmere, 25% silk. They call it Plume lace. So it's a lace weight yarn. I couldn't decide between two colors, so I got one of each. This white is Fior de Latte, and this purple is called Careless Whisper. And I really wasn't planning to use them together in something. I think, I know Hohi Locateli designed a small shawl that uses a single skein, and my thought was to maybe knit that twice, one of each. So the put up here is, let me just take a look. 315 yards, and it's 25 grams. To me, it's a luxury yarn. I don't think I would put this in a sweater. It's just super soft and lovely, and I took advantage of a sale to acquire it. Which would I keep for me? Not sure. I think I have to knit something first and decide. I might gift one of these away if I knit that shawl, but that is to come. All right. I wanted to also show you what's next up on my needles, and I think I talked about it in the last episode. So Sophie Lucent had reached out to me. She is a designer, and she reached out to me and offered to gifted me one of her new patterns. She said she admired how I had knit up one of my other sweaters from about this time last year, and she said she just was inspired and wanted to give me a copy of the pattern. As it happens, I already had a copy of the pattern because I was planning to knit it. So I will be making it's just called Montrose, and I'm gonna pull up a picture for you to show you. Here we go. And it is a colorwork yoke sweater. This one's I'm gonna show you a short sleeve, but I plan to knit this long sleeved, and it comes each. It has the scalloped colorwork edging also. And it's hard to tell, but some of the color work is stranded in the front. I have actually, believe it or not, never done that before. It's a sport weight design, and I was looking for a sport weight pattern to use this yarn, which is from Twist of Fate Spinnery. It's a sport weight. I purchased this last year, I think at Fiber Festival of New England. The put up is 370 yards for, I think this must be 100 grams. It's a 50% alpaca, 50% wool. And then I purchased this to go with it. So the flowers will be in this red color and the background will be in tan. See, I am leaving the pink and purple era shortly. This red yarn is also a sport weight. I purchased this at Yarn Farm Kingston in Kingston, New York. It's by Galler Yarns, and the color, I think it's the colorway, is called Wool You Be My Baby. It is 25% baby alpaca and 75% superwash merino. The alpaca, it says it's made in Peru. Superwash merino is 21.5 microns, 371 yards. So the put up is very similar to this, and it has alpaca versus, actually they both are wool and alpaca, wool alpaca blends. So I'm very excited to start this design. Of course, I have a few things to finish first. And then the other project, which will go on my needles next, is going to be in this yarn, also from Twist of Fate Spinnery, also in a kind of warm brown color, and in 50-50, 50% alpaca, 50% wool, but this is the worsted base. And I have a sweater's quantity of this for my husband. I don't know what it will become. I've showed him a few ideas. I also could knit it with some other yarns, such as this beautiful dark brown as a complementary color. This rust, which I think like just lit the whole thing up, like clearly that is a great pairing. And I have a small bit of this navy, although I'm not voting for navy because he already has a blue sweater. Well, this almost looks royal on screen, but it looks darker to me in real life. But he already has a blue sweater, and he already has a gray and blue sweater. So this one is tan, like a warm medium brown. I think this would be fabulous. He looks really good in orange. And I love that this would be another farm yarn. This one is from Hilltop Meadow Farm. And I knit a sweater for me a couple of years ago in this chocolatey brown color. So that's what I'm planning. I have a lot of things in progress. And I think a couple are nearing completion soon, which is exciting. I don't set knitting goals as far as timelines that are hard and fast. I rarely do test knits, somewhat because of that. I think I did one last year. This is one for this year. I just like to knit things at my own pace and time. So I typically plan my knits at the end of the year for the following year. This prevents me from getting to the point of impulse purchasing. Oh, I love that design, or I must have that yarn. And I find for me, it's worked. Next year, I want to change things a little bit. And instead of picking patterns, I'm going to pick designers for the most part. So there are certain designers who I feel never get on my needles because because what shows up in my feed, what shows up online, what shows up in podcasts are sometimes very similar. And for me, sometimes the ones I want to get to, I just don't get influenced by, I guess, as often. So I'm working currently on a list of designers. I'm also going to do less knitting for me. I've talked about last time, I do want to crochet a blanket and do small squares. I'm a very beginner crocheter. I've crocheted a couple of bags and a hat, which is kind of the same thing flipped upside down in shape. One has a handle. The other one doesn't. And I know that one of my December countdown calendars would look really beautiful in a blanket. I may even have enough to make 2 blankets. So one would be crocheted, the other would not. And there's just something very appealing about taking a break from sweaters and garments for me, or paring back, because I won't fully take a break, but instead of having like 3 in the works, I think I'm leaning towards having 1 and then some other projects, some smaller things, blanket squares, blanket hexie puffs, something different, or gifts. And so I'm working on that list of designers, and then I will marry those with certain patterns. Sometimes I have a pattern in mind from a designer, but it's a designer I don't knit so often. So that's how I'm starting to think about 2025. Nothing is in stone, that can change, but that's sort of where my mind has been going. I have been doing this strategy for a few years that I did this year of, I pick about 15 or so different patterns, make that list, have my yarns, or plan or think about what yarns that I'm going to use for them if I have them, or purchase them either at the festivals or at Vogue Knitting Live New York City, and then sort of work off of that. Yes, sometimes something gets added in, but for the most part, it's helped me stay the course. All right, it's been good to catch up with you, and like I said, I hope that you will participate in this giveaway. The way I will pull the names, I will announce them next episode. So this will run for about 2 weeks. I'm running at an episode every other week, and I will announce them on the episode only. I will comment back on the winning comments on this episode so that you know. And from there, we will find a way to connect, probably a direct message through Instagram or Ravelry, and we'll pick the winner that way. All right, take care.